And hello everyone, Lights and Gear is back with another product review. I have another charger to talk about today, another new charger of course. This being from a company called MiBoxer, or at least the brand name of it is MiBoxer. This is the C4 Smart Charger. I've not seen this brand name before, perhaps you haven't either. There is a 3-year warranty as it says here, which comes with the unit, and it is a standard unit in size as per most other 4-bay battery chargers. As chargers these days do, it does just about every kind of charging or any kind of battery that is any kind of rechargeable battery you may have lying about. And as long as it'll fit in one of the 4 slots, this battery charger should be able to handle it, from lithium-ion to LiFePO4, NiMH, NiCd, etc. There are a lot of handy features on this unit. Of course, like most chargers today, it does have a lot of safety precautions from over-discharge and short circuit and so forth. So it does take a good careful look at a battery when it's put in the slot and tells you whether or not it can actually be charged or not, because it will let you know if there's a problem with the battery, and will say error in the screen if it can't for any reason be charged. And it can also wake up old batteries that may have been sitting around for a while and might have discharged all the way down to 0. So it has the capability of giving that a very soft charge to make sure it can wake up, and if it can, then it will continue charging it, and if not, it will let you know. A couple of different power sources here for, it says available for car charging because it has a DC 12 volt on the back, and it comes with a regular AC cord. All these kinds of batteries that lists on the side of the box, it will handle all the different sizes, all the different batteries, 10340 all the way up to 26650 for lithium-ion. So it will handle just about anything. And a lot more information here on the back. More little bits of feature-y information about what it can do. It has the overcharge protection, as I mentioned, short circuit protection, and when a battery is finished charging, it will shut off. It does not give the battery a trickle charge. It just completely shuts off. So, you've seen the box long enough. Inside the box, you get this little tray of goodies. You get what you're supposed to get, is basically. Here's the instruction manual, which is written pretty well. It is in English, but translated from Chinese, I imagine. So there are a couple of head-scratching moments in here, but it's not too bad. It does give you all kinds of useful information, all the features, of course. At this particular recording of the video, I have not quite finished my written review for Lights and Gear on the unit, but if you want to click the link, which is probably there at this point, below in the description, you will get to read all about this and find out what's written in all this very small print here as far as the intricate operations of the unit, and lots of little tidbits as well on the different kinds of batteries and how the unit detects which ones they are and so forth. So that will be all in my written review there at lightsandgear.com. So you can take a look at that. Basically, it does charge with 2 sets of current, a high current and a low current. The only thing that might turn some people off is that it will not charge any higher than 800 mA. That is the highest current it will put into any battery, and that is specifically for lithium-ion. If you put an NiMH in there, which of course it will take, it will charge at a lower current than that. I believe it's, well, you see the high is 800 and 350. That's the high and the low for lithium-ion, and the low for NiMH is 150, and I think the high is 350. I'd have to read a little bit more through here again to remember that, but it is written here in this little segment down below. And it also describes to you if your battery has more than 1200 mAh capacity, whether or not it should be charged at high or low. Basically, if it's 1200 or over, it should be high, and if it's below 1200, then it should be charged at low. And for NiMH, the cutoff is 500. I believe if it's lower than 500 mAh, then it should be charged in the low setting. So anyway, it does do quite a bit, and I was impressed with the operation of it. It's just, I personally wish it could do higher than 800. Most of my chargers do 1,000, and most chargers these days do 1,000, so I'm not sure why they stopped this at why they had the cutoff at 800, but that's the way it is. So, you know, with everything, sometimes it's a give and take. You know, you like one thing about something, but not the other. So that's just the way that is. Anyway, let's take the charger out here, plug it in. Here are your connections on the back. There's your 12-volt DC. There's your standard AC. So, have the 12-volt here, which I'll plug in. And here is your display. I hope you can see that okay. I was having a little trouble getting the display to actually register in the camera lens. I'm not sure why. Must be because of the blue here, but what kind of display it is. But anyway, I'll do the best I can. And right off, you don't see too much except the name C4 and 4 empty little battery icons. Now, here are your slots, of course, all individually operational. And on the back, it does give you a bit more information and lists all those battery sizes. And you do have your 2 buttons here, one for changing the mode and one for selecting which slot you're in. Unless, of course, you just have one battery in there, then it doesn't matter. But for the moment, let me put in an 18650. And actually, I can show you this other portion of that as well. I think I can do that. Or let me put this one in over here. Let me start that way with an 18650, and the display lights up, and already it tells you that your battery is charging up here. It gives you the voltage of the battery, which is this battery is not discharged too far, so I believe this will go up to about 4. Right now it's stopping at 3.91, and right now it's saying here that this battery is charging at 350 mA, but there it goes up to 800, and now the voltage has gone up to 407. Here's your countdown timer up here, or your elapsed timer, I should say. It'll tell you how long the battery has been charging. Now, in this little display here, I don't think I have to zoom in a bit, it gives you the information here that you might want to know about the battery. It just tells you that I do have a lithium ion in here at the moment, and it is using a constant current type of mode to charge in, constant current, constant voltage, and the current is set in the high mode right now. If I wanted to change that, I would tap the mode button here, and then each of these except for the middle one will flash. See that CUR is flashing. Then if I want to change it, I'll have to tap it again. So there's your battery type there flashing. So if I hit it again, there's your current flashing, and then if I press and hold, it will change to low. So it'll toggle back and forth. Well, in that case it just selected low, but it should toggle back and forth between low and high. As long as I press and hold the button, it'll toggle between low and high. And high is 800, so we'll stop there. And now it's charging. 409 is the voltage, and it's using 800 mA. Now, the one good thing about this charger is as the charge begins to end and the battery capacity begins to obviously fill up, this figure here will drop. So it'll go down to whatever current it's putting into the battery. If it ends by only putting in 150 mA, it'll show 150. So this continues to fluctuate as the battery capacity draws near. It'll fluctuate and show how much current it's putting into the battery. So that's a good thing. And the little display here, like a cell phone, you know, will get higher and higher as the battery gets full as well. And any type of any battery size you can think of will fit in the unit. I have a 26650 here. Let me see if I can fix this camera from wobbling. It seems to like to wobble a lot. Here's a 26650. It'll of course even fit into the neighboring slot. And now that one's starting to count up. And of course I could select something different for this slot if I wanted to. I could change this one down to a low charge if I wanted to. So your slots here are independent. So now this one's set to low, so that will show 350. So that's your low current 350, and your high current, which the other one was doing, is 800. So if I hit the slot button now, I can go back and forth between the two slots. There's number 2 and there's number 1. Number 1 is going at 800. Number 2 is going at 350. So that's how you, that's what you can do there as far as the slots are concerned. Now, of course, two 26650s will fit in the charger at once if you want. I'm not sure. I don't believe I can get one next to it here, but I could put another one in number 4, or you could, of course, have a 26650 on either side. And, yes, there's another neat thing here which it does do, which I wanted to show you, and that is when you're using a slender and small battery like a AAA, it actually comes with this little bridge, because many a time, in a lot of chargers like this, AAAs, when they go in the slots, they kind of disappear. And they're so small, they don't even make contact up here. So MiBoxer has figured out that if you put this little bridge in here and just drop it in like that, you can then fit AAAs in there with no problem. And they can go in just like this. And they're bridged, so they're actually meeting and making contact. And there you go. They've already started to register themselves. And if I zoom in here a bit, it should tell you that it's an NIMH or NICD, one or the other, but that's what it's, you know what you've got in here, and that's what it's telling you. And this is also, I think that is giving you the, I think that's giving the resistance of the battery, I think. Sorry if I'm not that up on that particular icon at the moment, but it will be in my written review most certainly. Oh no, it's just that, that's right, it's the charging type that it uses for NIMH. For lithium ion, of course, it uses the constant current, constant voltage, but it uses a different system for the NIMH, so that's what that is showing you there. But it is using the high current at the moment because that's where it's defaulted to set. So again, high current for an NIMH is 300. Now, if I were to change that, and now it's flashing there, so if I were to change that current and go to low, this will now drop to 150. So, as I said before, it does not use the highest currents that are available in some other chargers. So if you're good with that, if you can live with that, then that's your decision. If you think, and again, if the battery is less than 1200, which obviously these Eneloops are, it says, or it recommends, that they're supposed to be charged in a lower current. So that would be 150, which would conceivably take a little bit longer than in some of the other chargers that are available today. So that's your choice. If you think that that is okay, then go for it. It's a very good charger otherwise, and you can see everything's going independently here. And pressing the slot button, right now it's in C4, so that's what's happening in C4. Back to C1, there you are on the 800, and C2 you're on the 350 with the lithium ion, and then C3 you're at an NIMH with 300, and C4 you're at 150, because I didn't change this one, so this one's still charging at 300. Now you see it recommends that you lower the current, but you can still leave it, as far as I know, at that current as well. It will charge it at that current. It recommends to charge it at the slower current. However, for the purposes of demonstration, there you go, and then back to C4, you're at the 150. So as you can see, everything handles itself independently of each other, and that's pretty good, and you get a nice big display on for each one. Now I was going to talk about the let me take a couple out here. I was going to talk about the discharge or the capacity testing feature that it does. So let me just run that by you here. Take all this stuff out. I could leave it in there. It'll test the capacity of any battery, but I have a really cheap 18650 here, which I was going to demonstrate it on. Not that we'll be able to see what happens when it finishes. Oh, by the way, yes, when everything finishes, of course, you'll see FUL here in the display, of course. And when everything finishes, it does not give you the exact ending voltage, as some chargers do not. It just gives you 4.20, so it'll just show the nominal voltage of the battery once it finishes. But if you have a a tester, if you have a multimeter, you can test the real voltage of the battery when it's finished, but this will just say it's 4.20 regardless of whether it's 406 or 415 or whatever. All right, so now I'm using the fourth slot, and the fourth slot obviously can be used to charge a battery, but it is also specifically designed to test the capacity of the battery. You can't test capacity in any other slot except number 4. So by default, it has already started charging here and using high current and so forth. So by default, it's already charging. But if I press the mode switch, now you see this counter up here. If I press the mode switch, what it should be giving me the opportunity to do... Oh, there, it just did it a second ago. There, it's flashing 000 mAh. So once it's doing that, then it should go into the other mode. Actually, let me try. Oh, I know what it is. Okay. See, I'm still kind of new to this unit, so if I press the mode switch until I see that, then I press and hold it. Okay, now it brings up these little, can you see these little arrows? Let me zoom in. It brings up these little arrows, and that's how you turn on and off the whole capacity section of the charger. There, you can see it that way. So when it goes to the 000 mAh, you have to press and hold it, and then it will bring up these little arrows. And the arrows will tell you what it's doing. At the moment, it's charging the battery. Obviously, the display here is moving up, and this is an arrow pointing down. So it kind of does the opposite of what you think it might do. It's pointing down, but that means it's charging the battery. When it starts to discharge the battery, there'll be a little arrow in the next part. There'll be an arrow in the middle here, and that will be pointing the other way. That'll be pointing up, and that indicates that it's then discharging the battery, and the display here will be going in the opposite direction. Instead of going down to up, it'll be going up to down. So at the moment, this is charging the battery. Then of course when it finishes, it'll discharge it, and then it'll tell us the capacity, of course, to which it has discharged, and then it will charge it again and give you the final capacity of the battery again, and everything will be noted at that point. But that's how you test the capacity of the battery, and if none of that makes any sense, read my written review, where I will do my best to explain it in as plain English as I can. But anyway, it's all to do with these little arrows here, and which one is pointing in which direction, and of course the display here, which does change, but that just lets you know what it's doing at that particular time. But that's how you test discharge, or test the capacity of the battery through the discharge function. So anyway, I think I've tried to cover all the basics here as best I can. Again, check out my written review if none of this makes any sense, and if you want to read about it. And there's also a link below if you want to pick one of these up and then just read about the whole thing yourself. The link is below for that, and questions or comments, of course, I'm always open as well. But this has been this particular review of the new MiCharger C4 Smart Charger. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope it's made some kind of sense to you, and we will see you next time at Lights and Gear with more batteries, chargers, and flashlights, and more reviews. So until then, take it easy. So long.